Welcome back to Morning Glory. It's 6:35. I'm Mike Graham with you all the way through until 10 o'clock. Emma Woolf is here with us as well. We're looking at all the front pages this morning, and lots of them have got all sorts of stories on the front page. The Guardian, bizarrely, goes with a Labour revolt, in fact, for Keir Starmer, amongst all of his other problems that he's got. We were just talking about GB Energy. Apparently, you know, last week there was a court ruling that said, you know, this particular Rosebank oil field should not have been reopened and should now be shut down forever. Well, apparently both Starmer and Rachel Reeves are thinking of challenging that and actually reopening the oil and gas exploration in the North Sea, which goes completely against what Net Zero Ed Miliband is saying. And apparently it's upsetting loads and loads of people in the Labour Party. Because it's all about growth.
Yeah, it puts them on a potential clash with Miliband.
Yeah. Silly band, as some people call him. Silly
Miliband, yeah. So, yeah, this is going to be a possible... Can I just say, Mike, I'm really sorry to suddenly swerve.
Yeah.
But I've just seen in the Telegraph this most ludicrous thing, the Scottish NHS, where they get free prescriptions.
Yeah.
OK, a packet of paracetamol costs 37 pence.
Yeah.
In the Scottish NHS, 53, because they give away, they prescribe paracetamol.
Oh, yeah.
And so they give it, so they're giving it to people. It's costing them £8.53 for a pack of paracetamol that you can buy for 37 pence.
But you know, we have the same problem.
That's the problem with the wastage.
Yes.
And we talk about, got to put more money into the NHS. No.
No.
Every single pack.
We have the same problem here. There are people who are prescribed shampoo.
Yes.
There are people who are prescribed conditioner.
Yes.
Which they can easily buy in a shop.
Anything that you can buy in a shop for literally under £1.
Yeah.
And they're getting free prescriptions, and so that is costing the NHS, and that is where millions and millions of pounds is going.
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, I could find any number of reasons why the NHS is
as well as all the middle management and the bureaucracy and the wastage.
Right.
But things like that is basic, basic.
One piece of good news from the Scottish and part of the world, though, is yesterday we revealed that the SNP were considering banning cats.
Oh, yes.
Right? But they've now apparently rolled back on it after they were mocked ridiculously, not least on this programme, but in other places. So they've now decided, actually, maybe we won't ban cats after all. I mean, to be honest, if you tried herding cats, you know, it's pretty hard to ban them.
Pretty hard.
You know, they are, you know, basically, they might be domesticated animals, but actually, you know, they're quite hard to ban. Let's get a voice note from Mark.
Morning, Mike. It's Mark in Lancashire. This voice coach visiting Labour HQ on Christmas Eve sounds suspiciously like a drinks party to me. And what I'd like to know is who else was there? Who else visited Labour HQ, travelled maybe from all over the country, from 50 miles away or more on Christmas Eve? Do they really expect us to believe that there was only the young Tories dancing around drunk, making fools of themselves when they shouldn't have been?
Well,
it's a really good question.
It's got the sniff of eggnog about it, hasn't it? You know, come for a few canapes.
Absolutely.
And a bit of a Christmas drinky poos. And then go back to Brighton on an empty train. I don't know if we've got the picture, but she put out, funnily enough, this voice coach, the Shakespearean actor, she put out a picture of her journey to London on that very day, right? And there it is, because she was like, oh, isn't it amazing? Such a quiet train.
Yeah.
And she wasn't supposed to be travelling anywhere, because she wasn't a key worker unless she was made one. So I'm sorry, she's literally banged to rights, isn't she?
I think so. And she's also got links with Ed and, what was it, Justine Miliband. And he's another one that can't deliver a... that has a terrible... So she just... I don't think this is very good for her business, Mike.
No. I mean, maybe she specialises in dealing with people who can't speak.
Oh, OK, the Nasal Knights.
Yeah, and make the Nasal Knights. It could be a sort of punk rock band, couldn't it?
Miliband and Keir Starmer.
Keir and the Nasal Knights. More seriously, let's look at the front page of the Daily Express. Lots of people have got loads of pictures of the Grammys. I couldn't care less about the Grammys. We're not touching it. We're not doing it.
Good.
You know, Kanye West, you know, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Nine Danker, I think.
Nine Danker, yeah.
We're not doing it.
Don't give a
very serious story on their front page. Yeah. A boy of 15 was stabbed to death at a school yesterday after a messaging row between pupils. This is where we are now in this country. You've got a young son.
Every single day we see...
absolutely terrified.
Absolutely.
Right, of where he's going to go to school. He'll probably be OK for his primary school. But once they get to the age of about 11 or 12, you know, I was very sure that I did not want to raise my children in London. You know, I was very sure I didn't want to raise my daughter in New York. You know, she got to the age of 2 and I was like, we're leaving. And we came back to Britain and we ended up living in the countryside, you know, because eventually all parents, if they can, would not want to put their kids at risk. I mean, your kid will be at risk, I'm sorry to say this to you, just travelling on the tube or the bus when he's about 12 or 13.
That is absolutely terrifying.
You know? isn't it?
But every single day. But I went to school in London. It just wasn't like this. It just wasn't like this.
Nobody tried to stab me in the entire time that I grew up here.
And you know what? We could buy knives in any supermarket.
Yeah.
There were knives in our kitchen drawers.
Right.
There was never any risk.
Well,
and we
most
travelled
of my friends had
on the
pen
underground
knives.
every day. Everybody had a Swiss Army knife.
You'd bring a Swiss Army knife to
All
school,
my brothers
no
had Swiss Army knives.
Yeah.
Exactly. Every single day there are stabbings in this country. Every single day there's a woman who's been attacked. It's absolutely appalling.
Yeah.
It's not even news anymore. It should be.
This
is appalling, and this 15-year-old died.
And there's a piece in the Mail today, page 15, written by somebody called Barney Shand, which is a pseudonym.
Yeah.
He says, I've had 2 iPhones, an iPad and a Rolex stolen in 4 London muggings in just 1 year. The police's response was, you're lucky you haven't been stabbed.
And you've had
great.
You had your phone stolen,
I had my
didn't
phone
you?
nicked, yeah. Which doesn't, it doesn't make me a hero or anything like that, but it shows you that it's just happening all the time.
But it's happening all the time.
I had a lovely cab driver yesterday. I was literally standing by a bus stop in Bermondsey, near where I live, waiting for a bus home, and he stopped. His name's Lee, and he says, listens to the show every morning. He said, jump in, I'll give you a lift. And we started talking about stuff, and he was like, this is happening all over the places. Everywhere he drives, every single day, there's some kind of incident of either somebody, and he was saying all around Surrey Quays, which is not far from where I live, people are getting their phones stolen all the time, and they run down into the tube and get away, or they're on in my case, the guy was on a moped. Electric bikes have now become, accessories to crime. You see people on electric bikes all the time.
Swerving along the pavement, grabbing phones.
Grabbing phones.
Yeah.
Because it's an easy escape for them.
Mike, where I live in, sort of Clerkenwell round the Barbican, sort of on the edge of Islington, the police are everywhere at the moment. And I was talking to a police officer yesterday. I said, what's going on around here?
Yeah.
And he said, well, this big hotel, it's called the Thistle Hotel. It's on Central Street.
I know.
I used to do sort of little conferences there and it was work training. It's become a migrant hotel.
Has it?
And apparently it's an absolute no-go zone now. No-go zone.
Just a den of robbery.
12, 13-year-old girls can't walk down the street.
Right.
I'm talking about local people that live there, like I have, for over 10 years.
Right.
Can't walk down the street, and it's terrifying for parents, for any young people just walking to and from school.
Right.
It's become, as you say, a no-go zone.
Well, do you remember the story
Central London
a few weeks ago from Altrincham up in Manchester, where they put a load of migrants in a hotel right next to a girls' school, and people were going, what the hell are you thinking? And we're seeing more and more reports, by the way, of these guys going down and taking photographs or filming girls as they walk in and out of school.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting.
To put it politely, they have different attitudes.
When is somebody going to talk about this? And these, supposed feminists in the Labour Party. When are they going to talk about the misogyny? And they talk about, the Home Office. Misogyny is as bad as terrorism. Yeah, but funnily enough, it's being perpetrated by the same people that perpetrate the terrorism.
Well, this is why the grooming gang scandal has gone uncovered for so many decades.
Out to be the world's worst bloke.
Yeah.
What about all these scumbags who are coming here from countries where women have no rights? And they're picking and preying on young white women. What the hell is going on?
But that's how the grooming gangs cover-up has happened.
Yeah,
that's how Rochdale has happened.
Exactly. Chris in Newbury says this, Mike, if Starmer had a lesson Christmas Eve, then she can produce an invoice and he can produce a receipt. Shouldn't take them more than 5 minutes. Very good point.
Let's see it.
And Rachel says, I'm a devout Christian and I don't like hearing the Lord's name taken in vain, but I'm also a proud Brit who believes in free speech. We don't need blasphemy laws introduced by the back door. I've been asking for people to give me a reason or a definition, if you like, of Anglophobia, people who are frightened of this country. Dear Mike, Islamophobia, as far as I know, a phobia is defined as an irrational fear. Surely the way some extreme Islamists have been behaving, then the fear of Islamists is entirely rational. Therefore, there is no such thing as Islamophobia. George from Luton.
Absolutely.
Very good point.
Very good
And talking about what is frightening about those people who hate England, great piece again in the Mail by Daniel Hannon, who basically talks about why the people who run this country hate it. Why do we refuse to deport illegal entrants, even those who have gone on to commit serious crimes? Why are we decarbonising back to the Stone Age when almost no other country is following? Why do we import energy from nasty regimes while closing down our cleaner homegrown industries? Why do we back the International Criminal Court's claims against an elected head of government, Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu? The answer to each question is the same: Hermerism, Starmerism. Let's call it Harmerism.
Yeah.
Because that's also including the Attorney General, who once took part in some kind of Palestinian, prorogation to say that he would be in favour of clamping down on Israel's genocide.
Yeah, it's a really interesting piece by Daniel Hannan, isn't it? And it's about Starmer's obsession with human rights law, with obsession with
which
global...
Which trumps everything else, right?
Legal maximalism, he calls it. It's a really, really interesting piece. Above our national interest.
Yeah.
Global interest above all else.
Yeah.
Human rights law, that's his obsession.
Yes.
And he's never really backed Britain.
No.
You know, Starmer's never...
He clearly doesn't believe in Britain, does he?
That is a frightening place for us to be with a Prime Minister at this time who doesn't back Britain, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, no wonder Trump is just laughing at us.
Exactly right. We'll come to Trump in a moment. Emma Woolf is here. It's coming up to 6:46.